Hey guys, today I thought it would be fun to share a video on how I create a flawless look with my foundation, why I use a beauty blender, how to use a beauty blender. We're gonna talk about the beauty blender a little bit here. And I just wanna show you guys something too, because I think it's a misconception about the beauty blender. That's what we're gonna talk about today. Before we get started, please make sure you click that subscribe button. You can even see it on the watermark. Just click on that little button that says click here to subscribe. I share new videos every single week. Make sure you click on that notification bell too, so YouTube will share my videos, show you my videos. And that's it. Let's just get into it. First, really quick, I'm just gonna put my primer on because I should have done that. I always use a primer. This one I've been loving lately, and this is from Chanel. This is the Le Blanc de Chanel. I am loving this. I use very, very, very little. I've already added my sunscreen, by the way, too. I always use sunscreen. This is the tool that I've been using most of, especially with using my Retin-A. You know, my skin is always exfoliating. It just seems like every brush that I use lately, because I've upped my percentage of my Retin-A, I just feel like I'm always like the brush is exfoliating my skin more. So this is the only tool I feel like really gives me a nice flawless look. It's not exfoliating my skin anymore than I already am doing with my Retin-A. I love this beauty blender. Now I've tried some, I haven't tried them all, but I have tried dupes for the beauty blender, other sponges, and I just don't like them. I really love the way this one feels. A lot of them are like really hard. I bought some that felt really nice, but then I would wash it once and it would start falling apart, and I'm not rough on them. It's like I might as well just stick with what works for me. I take really good care of this. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think it says that you're supposed to replace this every 3 months. I don't. I keep it until it starts looking really grody, and then I get a new one. So I would say maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, maybe even longer than that. You didn't hear me say that, but I'm just being honest with you. When I first got this, I did, but then I'm like, you know what? I was throwing them away and I felt like there was nothing wrong with it. And I don't have pimples all over my face or anything like that. So I just feel like if you take good care of it, it will last you longer. That's how it's been for me. Just sharing that. When you wash your beauty blender, before you wash it, it's gonna look like this. Do you see the difference? So it's gonna look like that. So what you wanna do is you wanna hold it under the water, and you just wanna go like this. You just wanna keep going like that. And as you're doing it, you're like pumping the water in here. Once you do that, maybe, I don't know, maybe you do it like 5 or 6 times or so. Then I take a towel and I blot out the extra, because you don't want this to be drippy wet either. So you just take a towel, just kind of squeeze it out in the towel, and that's where I'm left. That's what I'm left with right here. Now, something that a lot of people say, and I am gonna get my glasses here because I gotta see what I'm doing. So this is a beauty blender. This is a kind of an old one. Actually, it doesn't look that bad yet either, and I've had this one for probably a year. But I'm gonna cut it in half anyways because I have some other backups. I want you to see something here. Can you see the inside of my beauty blender? I'm gonna let that focus for a second. So you can see the inside of that. There's no product that's in there. You can see it on the outside, but you see how it doesn't get absorbed inside of the beauty blender? So I just feel like that's a misconception with people. People think that they're using a product on it, that it gets all absorbed in here, and I am not finding that. I used to think that too, because that's what other people said, but it doesn't get absorbed in there. Do you see that? Look how nice and pink that is too. That's what it used to look like. So it does stain the outside of it, but it doesn't get absorbed inside of the sponge. That's a total misconception. Like I said, I love using this because I feel like I get the most flawless, seamless look. I've used a lot of different brushes, and there's a lot of good brushes out there. I've even used some dupes for the Artiste brush that seem like they're really nice. Now, I've never tried the real deal, but I just always find that I'm pulling my face. I like that I can apply my, and I'll tell you, we'll get to how to apply your foundation too, because it depends on the foundation. But I just find that the the less I'm using like a brush or anything like that, the better it is, because otherwise I'm like pulling and tugging my skin, and I don't like that. And I feel like with this, I'm like pushing the foundation and I'm pushing it in. So then you're getting that nice flawless look. You're not getting any brush marks or anything like that. And it's getting into your pores, which I know you're like, you don't want your makeup to get in there. You sort of do, because you want to create that flawless look. So that's why you always have to make sure that at the end of the day, you always clean your skin really well. And I always do like the 2-step method. I take my makeup off, and then I go back with a cream cleanser, and I use my Clarisonic to really make sure I get everything out. For me, the foundation that I've been loving right now is from Chanel, but I also, and I don't have it in front of me, love using my, here it is, my Shiseido BB cream. That's a good one too, but I'm gonna use this one today. So I shake it up really good. Now, when I am using a really watery, because these two are very liquidy. These are not thick at all. They're very light coverage, and that's what I like lately. When you're using a light coverage foundation, what I found is to put the product on the sponge works best, because if you just put it on your face and then you start spreading it, it's not going to spread really good. So I just find that putting it on the beauty blender and then tapping it and start blending it, it works perfectly. If you're using something that's a little bit thicker, like a heavier coverage foundation, you can apply it to your face and then take your beauty blender, and that works really good. But I just find with anything that's really liquidy, it just works best to put it on the sponge. And you can see it's stained on there. I don't know if you can see it, but it is stained. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on. I don't go crazy. And then I kind of go like this. And then I start pouncing it in. And I pounce mine in. Some people go like this. I guess you could do that. It just works better for me just to pounce it in. And then I just blend it all over. I don't put foundation, I don't put this by my eyes or on my nose. I use something different on my nose, and we'll talk about that, because you can use this for powder too. I use this for my creamy, not my creamy, but my, I use it for my blush as well. Let's see if I have my blush in here. I do. I'll use that today. But I don't use this every day, but I have been using it a lot lately, and this is my cushion blush, and you can also use this for your cushion foundation. It works, I think, better than the sponge that they give you. So that is my one side done, and it looks beautiful. I can see it. It looks great. So now I'm going to take it and do the other side. This is the way I always do my make. So I just put a little bit on there, and then this is what I do. And I just feel like these foundations just dry so fast on the skin that I feel like it just works better to put it on the sponge and then do it the way I'm doing it, because you're spreading it around really good instead of letting it sit there on your face. I don't know, this is just what been working for me. And then I can put some on my neck there a little bit too. But this is I love this foundation anyways. It's a nice coverage. Then I use my beauty blender for my concealer. I always use it under my eyes. Now I know they have little ones, but this works really good for me. I don't feel like I need to use a little one. Effaceurs. Oh my gosh, I hope I'm saying it right. Please don't sue me. I'm just gonna put my concealer right there, and I'm just pouncing that on there. And I always just do my concealer where I need it. I don't do it totally under my eyes because I can't. Some people can, I can't. If I do that, I just age myself 10 years. So I just use it where I really need it. And I only have it right there, my little circle. But if you can, do a concealer totally under your eyes, then you are really lucky. But I am not one of those people. I can't do it. And I just use a very tiny bit. But do you see what I'm doing? I just take my beauty blender and I'm just lightly, I'm not going in there, but I just lightly just kind of pounce it in there. I just want to make sure that I'm getting it on there good. That's what I do. And then I take my concealer and I'm just going to cover up my scar here, a little bit of redness right there. And then I take my beauty blender and I just pound. Now this is where I have some larger pores. I don't know where my scar is. So I'll really get in there and push that. So anywhere where you have some larger pores, you really want to push that you really want to push it in there. But for the most part, I just do that little pouncing motion on my face. I have to use a powder on my nose. It just works better for me. So I want to use the dual finish powder. And what I do with this, instead of using the sponge that it comes with, because I just don't like it, I just think it's cheap and just, you know, it's nice for touch-ups if you're out, I guess, but for a makeup application, I wouldn't recommend it. So I just take my powder and I just take my beauty blender, just like that, because it's already damp, and then I just pounce it on my nose. That's what I do. Now you can set your makeup like this too with a beauty blender. You could take a powder and put it on your face. I don't do my powder like that, but you can. You can take your damp beauty blender and you can use it in your powder and you can apply your powder. And I'm just using my Holy Grail Charlotte Tilbury Airbrushed Flawless Powder in Fair. And I'm just taking my powder brush really quickly and just going right over. I always set my foundation always. This is really nice because it looks like I'm not wearing powder. I'm going to show you my face close up before I do my blush because I want you to see that. Can you see how it doesn't look like I have cakey baked on makeup, and I love that. Usually I put my bronzer on. I'm filming a couple videos, so I'm going to do my eye look off camera and come back at the end of this, but I'm just going to show you what I do for my blush when I use my cushion blush. Again, it comes with this little sponge, but I'm just finding lately that my beauty blender works great with that. I always like to put my blush right up here because I like to pull my face up. And so I just take it and I push it in there and get it on there, and then I just tap it on like that. And I love it because it just gives a nice natural blush look, you know? Can you see that? See how pretty that is? I just love it. It's nice and glowy and natural. I'm gonna do the same thing. Now, I would not do this with a powder, only with a cushion. And yeah, a powder blush. I would not do it with a powder blush, but with a cushion, this works really, really well. And I do a little at a time, you know what I mean? I don't want too much on there. And then I kind of like lightly tap it and I just kind of make sure that both sides are even. And that's it. That's what I do to create a flawless look. I will be right back. Okay, so I changed. I have a different shirt on. I know, I'm doing different videos and my battery stopped recording. So I'm like, okay, might as well change. So anyways, so that is it. I finished up all my makeup. That is how I create a flawless foundation look. I'm gonna let you see my face close up now and see how my makeup still looks because I've had my makeup on for several hours because I'm recording a bunch of videos so you can see what I look like. But that is how I create my flawless look. And I love this foundation because if you saw it close up, you can see I have a little bit of shine, but it's not greasy. It's like a nice dewy look. So I love using my beauty blender. It's my favorite tool. Like I said, there's been brushes that I've used. Even the Clarisonic brush is nice, but it just isn't working on me right now because I have dry skin. So if you have normal skin or oily skin, then you could use a brush. I just prefer using the beauty blender because I just feel like I get a better, more flawless look with that. Using a beauty blender as opposed to using a brush. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that this video was helpful and informative. Please make sure you share this, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment below because I always respond back to your comments. And let me know, do you use a beauty blender? Do you use a dupe that you like? Let me know in the comments. And that is it. Thank you so much, and I will see you real soon.